All right, I'm about 324 pages into the stand. I think that's where I'm at right now. But I took a break from this and I read another short story by Philip K. Dick. Last time I talked about We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, which was adapted into Total Recall. This time I'm going to talk about The Minority Report, which was adapted into a film starring Tom Cruise from 2002, Steven Spielberg film called simply Minority Report. Talk about the story and the film, the differences between them, and essentially why I think the short story is better than the movie. So, let me talk about the movie first because it's probably the one that more people are familiar with. So, in Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise, they have what's called a pre-crime unit, and the way this works is they have three what they call precogs. All right, they're essentially three humans that have prescient ability. They're able to like see the future, see things before they happen. So they got them in this like tub of water with electrodes hooked to their head, and their visions are basically broadcast onto these plasma screen things or whatever. And they'll get like a warning, like this is how the film opens up with this dude who's getting ready to go to work. This is right at the beginning of the movie. This dude's getting ready to go to work. He's talking to his wife, walks out the door. All of a sudden, there's a warning triggered, and the precogs, they see the future. And this guy's going to murder his wife, is what's determined, because she's having an affair. So Tom Cruise is trying to get there and catch the guy before he kills his wife. And this is what the pre-crime is all about. Like this pre-crime, these precogs that they have. So that is pretty much kind of similar to the book, even though that scene doesn't happen. This is basically showing you how pre-crime works through the use of these mutants. But there's also some other stuff. You've got this character played by Max von Sydow, who's kind of like the founder of pre-crime. He's not in the book. Okay, in the book, John Anderton, which is the character Tom Cruise plays, he is the one that founded the pre-crime unit. And then he's also got this like subplot in the movie where Tom Cruise's son was abducted and is presumed murdered. That doesn't happen in the book. Tom Cruise is like a drug addict. He's addicted to what is it called? Neuroin, I think is what it's called. I don't know exactly what it does. It's some drug of the future. But he and his wife are separated, and that's not what happens in the short story. In the short story, he's not addicted to drugs. He and his wife both work together at the pre-crime place, so there's a lot of differences. In the film, the three precogs are known, they're almost deified. The place where they keep them is called the temple, and they're like kind of considered almost like in touch with the divine, like that they are kind of like the Oracle of Delphi. They're receiving divine messages, like they're in touch with divinity. And I think it's a lot different from, well, it's not, I think, it is a lot different from the short story, but let me just read you the first line here, and you'll see, like, already just in the first line how the short story differs from the film. So it says, the first thought Anderton had when he saw the young man was, I'm getting bald and fat and old. So, yeah. Tom Cruise look bald, fat, and old to you in this? No. Anderton is like a middle-aged dude with receding hairline and, love handles. Probably from eating too many donuts. I gotta lay off the sweets myself. But, The Colin Farrell character in the film, the Colin Farrell is he comes into the pre-crime on behalf of, I think, the Department of Justice in the movie, I think is what it is. On in the book, he's coming on behalf of the Senate, and he's checking things out. This Whitwer, let's see, the Senate's pleased with your work. Yeah, so the Senate. I don't know what Senate this is. I'm assuming this is some sort of, I don't know if the United States exists in this. It doesn't really tell us, but there's a little clue later on that things aren't exactly like they are now with us. But there's this metaphysical issue that's brought up both in the film and is kind of the basis of the book. But when they go down, Whitwer says, with the aid of your precog mutants, you boldly and successfully abolished the post-crime punitive system of jails and fines. As we all realize, punishment was never much of a deterrent and could scarcely have afforded comfort to a victim already dead. They had come to the descent lift. As it carried them swiftly downward, Anderton said, you've probably grasped the basic legalistic drawback to pre-crime methodology. We're taking in individuals who have broken no law. But they surely will, Whitwer affirmed with conviction. Happily they don't, because we get them first, before they can commit the act of violence. So the commission of crime itself is absolute metaphysics. We claim they're culpable. They, on the other hand, eternally claim they're innocent. And in a sense, they are innocent. The lift let them out and they paced again down a yellow corridor. In our society, we have no major crimes, Anderton went on. But we do have a detention camp full of would-be criminals. Now, I don't know about you, but this is the kind of stuff that scares me because they're talking about stuff like this now, like with the use of AI and predictive patterns and whatnot. I mean, you ever look down and you get these little pop-up ads that are tailored just for you? This is happening, dude. I mean, it freaks me out, man. I'll be talking about, I don't know. I'll talk about going to get a Whopper. Like I'm gonna go to Burger King and give me a Whopper. Man, I'd really like to get a Whopper. And next thing I know, I got all these pop-up and ads on my phone about a Whopper, or talking about how I need to get a plumber out here to, fix my sink or something, and all of a sudden I got all these plumbing ads on my phone. You ever notice that? Come on, dude. It's freaky. So this stuff is like they're doing this, tracking things. You're getting recommendations for stuff tailored specifically to you based upon your past purchasing history and whatnot. I mean, Google's tracking all this crap. And it's almost like this precog. Think about the implications of using a system like that. That's what we're talking about. Like, scary. But like I said, in the film, they're almost like deified. Almost, they live in a tub of water, and the place that they're at is called the temple. It's not like that in the book. Okay, in the short story, they're described as, let's see, what does it say here? In the gloomy half-darkness, the three idiots sat babbling. Every incoherent utterance, every random syllable was analyzed, compared, reassembled in the form of visual symbols, transcribed on conventional punch cards, and ejected into various coded slots. All day long the idiots babbled, imprisoned in their special high-backed chairs, held in one rigid position by metal bands, bundles of wiring clamps. Their physical needs were taken care of automatically. They had no spiritual needs. Vegetable-like, they muttered and dozed and existed. Their minds were dull, confused, lost in shadows. But not the shadows of today. The three gibbering, fumbling creatures, with their enlarged heads and wasted bodies, were contemplating the future. The analytical machinery was recording prophecies. As the three precog idiots talked, the machinery carefully listened. So they're like integrated, with computers. It's like Elon Musk wants to put the neural link in you, man. Well, these three precogs are like neural linked to computers, and they call them, like, they refer to them as monkeys down here at the bottom. So they've dehumanized it. They've dehumanized these three people, and they're almost like just considered like no more than just another piece of equipment. So, yeah. Unlike the film where they're regarded as human beings, they're treated like they're nothing, like they're just parts of a computer. It's like this Steven Spielberg doesn't do dystopia very well. I mean, the short story is way more dystopian. In fact, this film goes so far as to have a hopeful and a happy ending. You don't get that in the book. The short story doesn't have that. The short story version, there's this event that's taking place. It's called the Anglo-Chinese War. So the Earth has been devastated, and a lot of people have gone off to like off-world colonies to like Alpha Centauri and stuff. So there's off-world colonies established, and the Earth is kind of like a I don't know what to say. It's like a hellhole. It's not some place that's really nice that you really want to live. But also in the film, the character's name that pops out, that Tom Cruise is told he's going to kill in 3 days. He's like, I don't even know this guy, like, who is this? I don't know Leo Crow. Leo Crow is just some dude. It's just some rando, right? In the book, the guy that's name pops out is called Leopold Kaplan. And he is a veteran of the Anglo-Chinese War. And he is, what's this? General? So Leopold Kaplan is general of the army of the Federated West Bloc Alliance. So, West Bloc Alliance, Federated West Bloc Alliance. Sounds an awful lot like NATO, like some form of NATO, because you're talking Western powers versus the Eastern powers. So this is a Cold War piece of writing written in 1956 or published in 1956. So interesting stuff. But this whole idea of pre-crime, and why it's called the Minority Report is because since there's three of them, you get a consensus, but sometimes they don't always agree. So you have like the majority report, and then you'll get the minority report because there's three precogs. So if you have two of them agree and one of them sees something different, controversy, because that means that there's a possibility that they could be wrong. And if they get it wrong, if there's a minority opinion, then your flawless system has got a flaw, because it means that you're convicting people or holding people in detention centers based upon something that they're not even going to do, right? So it's not 100% foolproof. So this is where I think the short story excels, and I think this is a very good short story by Dick. I'm going to give this short story here a 5 out of 5. I think that it is a fantastic short story with a lot of moral quandaries, ethical problems to think about, right? Things that you're going, man, this is like the implications of this, like detaining people before they commit a crime based upon what you think they're going to do, and the whole idea of the elimination of free will versus fate versus free will concept it's always popping up. I mean, I saw this in, what did I read? I read this popped up in Parzival by Wolfram von Eschenbach, right? This popped up in Stephen King's The Dead Zone. This is why I like The Dead Zone so much with Johnny Smith, because Johnny Smith had precognition. And there was a moral quandary present in that Stephen King book, which I think is why I enjoy that one so much, and why these ones aren't really grabbing me so much, because these are just, they don't have the high heady concepts that I really am looking for, that I enjoy, you know, reading about or contemplating or whatever. But yeah, even in Frank Herbert's like Dune, we had characters that had, precognition, um, characters that are able to, through prescience, through the use of the spice melange, they can see the future or possible futures, multiple timelines and everything, and the precogs in the story here can only see like a week or two out, but Paul, he was seeing like hundreds of years into the future and seeing multiple timelines at the same time. And it's just, that series is crazy, absolutely crazy. And I finished it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still thinking about it. It's like I almost want to just read Dune again, like the whole series, the Frank Herbert books. But anyways, I'm rambling on. It's late. I'm just thinking about this. Philip K. Dick reader. This is cool. I will put the ISBN for this book in the description box, so click on that. If you want to get a copy of this, pick it up. I think the next one in here is Paycheck. I'm going to get back to reading Stephen King's The Stand. I'm on chapter, 37. So it's going to take me a while to get through this book. All right. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.